Swole Sister.
Worldwide.
That just keeps getting weirder and weirder.
I get that a lot.
Well, it is a snow day here in Burlington, Vermont. And
Happy February.
Yes. Well, Jen and I are both a bit experiencing the winter blues.
But Justine's going to Mexico
At the end of February,
so,
yes.
Yeah, I have to wait till April to go to Florida. So.
Yeah, you'll survive.
Yeah, I will.
So we are going to do a video today, and we're going to talk about workout intensity.
Yeah.
Because that was one of the questions that had come up. How hard should we work out?
Mm-hmm.
And the answer is,
it depends! Oh my god, that was amazing.
That was not planned. That was not planned.
Also, I just want to say randomly, I was on a website and an ad for men's diapers. And I was like, how is this targeted for me?
Is that your story? Oh my god.
I was just thinking of depends, but anyway.
Oh. Well, actually, this does segue slightly because one thing that happens to me that really annoys me is that when I am looking up exercises, it's almost always, I'll be like, all right, what are, like, I don't know, I want to get inspired, like, give me some good hamstring exercises, like, hamstring exercises for women. And I'm like, what the hell? It makes me so annoyed that my Google, like, assume, and that just, first of all, doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Because, you know, hamstrings are hamstrings. Anyways.
Okay. So it depends how to choose how intensely to work out, basically.
Yeah.
So some questions to ask yourself. One is, what are your goals?
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, we're both training for Dragon Boat, so we do have some performance-based goals that do ask that we train intensely in order to meet those goals. But if your goals are kind of general, we call it GPP, General Physical Preparedness. You down with GPP?
Yeah, you know me.
It's a thing.
Okay.
Then maybe your workouts do not need to be intense to achieve your goal of just like feeling a little bit better physically.
Yes. And even for people who are, we got some paddlers here, and they're going to understand this. So even for people who do have those performance-based goals, not every workout is going to be the day where you're going to be pushing for that personal record time.
Right.
And Jen had one of those days recently.
I almost vomited. So.
Yes. Hola! Tamara knows I'm working on my Spanish.
Oh, nice. Oh,
yes.
yeah, for Mexico. Okay.
Yes.
Maybe someday we'll do a live in Spanish.
Oh my god, Jen, that makes me have anxiety.
Okay, we won't
Don't even talk about it. Maybe one day.
Yes. So goals would be the first thing to ask yourself, or a thing to ask yourself.
Yeah.
And then besides just your goals, there's some other things you can check in with yourself to help determine whether or not that day you can go balls to the walls, if you will, even though we don't have those.
Yeah, that saying doesn't make any sense.
No.
But anyway, so, I mean, so before we move on to that, I want to also say some people's goals for a workout, and my goal is, this is often my goal, is I want to feel a certain way, right? So a lot of my workout, we've talked about this before, just personally, like if we don't work out at this point, just because our bodies are so used to getting that workout in, that expenditure of energy, like we start to feel kind of off.
Right.
Yeah. So a lot of my workouts are kind of maintenance, right? Like I'm trying to maintain not just my physical health, but also my my mood, right? And how am I going to feel when I go home to Sunny and Ruby? You know, am I going to be, you know, kind of mopey, or am I going to feel, you know, that nice feeling you get where you're like kind of tired, but you feel good, you know?
So for you, what does that mean? Does the workout have to be intense? Like, do you have to get sweaty in order to feel like you worked out, or does it matter just like any kind of movement?
Now we can move on, because that depends on the day. So that depends on in our next bullet point, which is energy. So a lot of times for me, it really depends on how much food have I eaten and how recently, and how is my sleep, how's my overall energy for the day feeling. and what else is going on in my life where if I'm already feeling really stressed, and I think this is an interesting point, and I'd be curious to hear what people think about this, is a lot of times people say, well, when I'm stressed, I have to work out really hard because that's how I burn my my mental stress, right? And I actually feel very opposite to that. Like if I'm feeling a lot of stress, oftentimes I will do a more nurturing, what I would call like more nurturing workout, which is slower, more mindful. You know, maybe I will use heavy weights, but I'll be like incredibly, I'm not jerking around, herky-jerk, like I'm really kind of taking my time.
Between sets, yeah. That is interesting.
What do you think about that?
So that's going to depend for me. Occasionally, exercise will be a numbing activity if I just don't want to feel something that I'm feeling.
And that's not necessarily wrong.
Yes.
I mean, at all.
And I come back to what I called my rage running on the treadmill when I was getting a divorce.
It's scary. You should see the look on her face when she's doing that. You do not bother her.
Yes. So occasionally, not all the time, there might be some uncomfortable feeling that's causing stress, and I might want to work out just to escape that for a little bit. And that might be a more intense workout.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've gone to, like, there have been nights, like, we'll all, like, hit up a Zumba class because maybe I am feeling a little bit like right now, the winter doldrums, this is, for me, a really nice time to go to something like a Zumba class because, you know, you shake off, you know, kind of loosen up, shake it out, right? So for me, that's kind of a fun thing to do that also is in line with my, you know, goal of just being,
mental
you know,
health,
physically fit and also having that, trying to be in a good mood, you know, which is not always easy.
Hi, Andrea.
Andrea, full on. We almost have a full 20-person boat.
The fire boat is here. So sleep is a really big
guys. Sleep is so huge. One thing that you told me, which makes total sense, but I didn't really think about it before you mentioned it, was just like your grip strength, right? Like if you don't get a good night's sleep, your grip strength literally decreases. Yeah. So just even holding on to a heavy bar is like so hard.
Right.
We had that when we were doing that workout where we were doing the farmer's carries.
Yeah.
And if we weren't feeling like a very good energy that day, oh my God.
It made a big difference with how much you could do. Yeah,
such a huge difference. So if you think about all the grips, right? So pull up strength, like any kind of barbell
Even
work.
if you're doing like lunges, you're holding dumbbells. Yeah.
So that is a great indicator. If you're feeling like, God, this weight feels heavy today, that's probably has something to do with either sleep or you have not eaten enough that day, or you're having a surplus of stress that is non-physical.
And exercise is stress too. And stress is not always bad. But the question is, do you have the reserves to recover from that stress? And if you're barely recovering from the stress of your life, then maybe an intense workout is not something that you have the time or the energy to recover from. So maybe like light walking or an easier workout. Yes. I think in general, movement is always a good call to do some kind of movement. But that just might not be the time for you to go after it.
Yeah, and this is where like rigidity. Hi, Kelsey. This is where rigidity really is not going to be your friend. Right. And I know that that's hard because like, all right, I got this workout plan, this many reps, this many rounds, I've got all this to do. And it's so important to be able to be flexible, right? So the opposite of rigidity. And if you need to make adjustments, like, you know, I'm doing my Bulgarian split squats. Last week I did 35s, you know, which is a lot. And, you know, so obviously I'm going to do 35s, and then being open to dropping the weight is really important.
And I think we kind of talk about this all the time. Being just more mindful in general.
Yes.
And just checking in with yourself on these things.
Yes. So yes, I mean, I cannot tell you how many times I have clients where they're dragging ass and I'm like, okay, well, when did you eat last? You know, and they're like, oh, I think I had like something around like 11. I'm like, it's 5:30 at night. What are we doing here? Yeah. Right. So that's so important. And, you know, we can go, I know that, you know, we've gotten requests for some nutrition, more specific nutrition videos, and we will go into that.
Yeah. We can talk about workout nutrition.
But that is a huge one. I mean, without even going into a lot of, yo, what's up, K-Dog? Without even going into a lot of like specifics, I think it should be pretty obvious that you should eat something
within like 2
within
hours.
2 hours of a workout. That's so
Yeah.
important.
Karen.
Another K-Dog?
Oh
my
goodness.
God. We got
mother
all...
and daughter watching. It's
Yeah.
like you guys are together, but maybe you're not.
Oh my God, we're bringing people together. Okay.
So a good question in general to ask yourself is this workout going to make me feel better or worse? And this is a good question if you're sick.
Mm-hmm.
Is this going to drain
So
me?
many sick people.
Or is this going to make me feel better?
Yeah.
And, there are times when that workout is not going to improve your health. So
That's what happened to Jen. Oh my God, you should have seen her face.
Oh yeah, I was not. I had a tough last Saturday. I had a tough day.
Yeah, that's a great question. And again, like that flexibility of being able, like, all right, I'm going to go into this workout, I'm doing the workout, but like being able to say, this might not be the best workout for me. Maybe I just need to do some stretching, or maybe I'm going to just like drop all the weight and just do some body weight stuff.
Yeah.
And being able to make that call for yourself.
And which Karen had asked this weekend, like, what would I recommend if somebody were sick and they were getting back into the gym to do? And I feel like light body weight exercises are nice to do because if you've had a lot of like lung, chest issues, you don't necessarily want to get your heart rate up super high and be breathing and dealing with that. But you get to like work your muscles and like going through a full range of motion in a body weight exercise is kind of a stretch in itself too,
Absolutely.
which is nice. So that's good.
Yeah, some calisthenic kind of stuff. Yeah, after effects. Yeah, we talked about that, better or worse. Motives. Yeah, so motives and goals are a little bit different. Motives are more like emotional, I think, for people than goals are. So for instance, one thing that comes to mind is, oh, well, I'm at the gym tonight and my motivation to work out is because it was, Susan's birthday. And so I had like an extra piece of cake. And so that's in your mind. You're like, all right, that's what, 800 calories. You look it up. All right, now I got to get on the, elliptical and work out, those 800 calories, right? So that motive is very different from, I'm motivated to work out because
I know this will help with my mental health.
Correct. Yeah. So I don't want to necessarily demonize the idea of like, I have extra calories today, so I'm going to burn extra calories, because in a way that does make sense. But Jen brought up such a great point. Do you want to say it?
Yeah. So rather than saying, oh, I need to punish myself with an intense workout because of what I ate, just a little reframe. Oh, I ate some extra calories. That means I'm going to have extra energy for an intense workout.
Yes.
And that alone can take like almost the pressure of that workout away.
It changes. Absolutely. It's such a huge change. And that's something that came to me a lot later in life, I think. For like, I mean, through my 20s, I never really thought of it that way. And then once I don't know, maybe around 30, it was just different. Because the reason was I had more mindfulness around my energy. So I realized, like, when I would go to the bagel, which is right near Snap, and get a bagel, I felt like, I'm like, damn, I can lift heavier, I can run faster, I can row further. And when you think about it that way, that's a totally different experience, because then it's like, this is really cool, like how I feel, instead of thinking, oh, here we go, I need to grind away because I did this thing and now I have to fix it, right? It's like almost like when you think about it as like, oh, I had this, now I have to burn these calories. It's almost like you're trying to fix something that you did wrong.
Right.
Instead of thinking about it like, yeah, I have these extra calories and therefore extra energy, right? Because that's what calories are.
Carbs are great for working out.
Yeah, totally. So kind of seeing it as a boon instead of seeing it as a punishment, like especially, women often see extra calories that way, where it's like, oh God, it's like, can really be anxiety provoking. So yeah, I love that. Really checking your motives. Yeah, time management. Jen, this is you.
Yes. So there are times when there is probably might be something else in your life that you need to do more than you need to get that workout in. Sometimes it means sleeping in the morning. It just might be better for you to sleep in than go to the gym because maybe you didn't sleep very well and you need that sleep. Or maybe if fat loss is your goal and you have the choice between working out and cooking some food, cooking the food to help you be prepared for the week may be more valuable for your fat loss goals than 45 minutes of exercise.
I agree.
because that's going to
Great
set you
point.
up for so many better decisions the rest of the week.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to prioritize, you know, whether or not it's time for that.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, and I think too, you know, we have there are a lot of people sick right now, and I think that there is a lot of anxiety around like losing all of your gains, you know, and I think that from what I can see with all the training I've done and just personally in my life when I haven't worked out so much, yes, when you come back from, let's say you have a month where like you didn't really do that much and you come back, all right, yeah, you got to knock off the, you know, dust off the cobwebs. You're going to be a little
the first
rusty.
couple workouts suck. You're a little sore.
Yeah, but you're not going to lose, like, you just aren't going to lose that much strength. Honestly, like, you're going to bounce back very quickly. So try not to stress too much about it. I mean, honestly, like, you could take a month off. Again, first few workouts, you're going to feel rusty. But as long as you get back into it, it's really going to be okay. So I just see a lot of anxiety around that right now just because I have so many
I'm
clients.
gonna lose all this
sick.
progress that I made. I just took a couple, like 2.5 weeks off because I was sick. I played a little bit of tennis. There were some very light workouts in there, and I just deadlifted actually for the first time in like over a month.
Yeah,
and I PR'd. So I deadlifted 245 pounds.
Yeah.
So like I had like a great lift. And,
yeah.
you know, there are some things like my pull-ups I know are not going to be as good as when we were doing our pull-up program this fall, but that's just the way that it is. But when you think about it, a week off, a couple weeks off, when you think about the percentage of your year that is, it's such a small percentage.
Yes.
So if you start coming to the gym too early and you extend that illness, like that's, I mean, it's the same with injury. Like you just don't want to force the recovery period. So.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, one thing we didn't touch on, which I think is important about intensity, how intensely should I work out? The one thing that just came to me is like, how much time do you have?
Yeah.
That's a really good question, right? So if you have like a full hour workout, then
it doesn't.
It doesn't have to be as intense, right? But if you come in and with 20 minutes, then the intensity needs to like be a little bit higher to achieve the same kind of level of exercise. So that's another good question.
Which I'm just going to go off on a little tangent here. Like this high intensity interval training is very popular. And those shouldn't be an hour workout. You're not getting that intensity in if you're doing it for that long. Yeah. That would be like saying you just sprinted for an hour. Like, no, you just
didn't.
You jogged. You jogged. Maybe you started sprinting, but by the end of that hour, you're jogging. Like, or walking.
Yeah, totally.
So,
I don't think that can be said enough times. I say that a lot as well.
I mean, a thing I like to do is maybe do some weights and then finish my workout with an intense first, because I do like to feel sweaty and out of breath.
Yeah, totally.
So, my mind just went to the gutter for a moment there.
Oh my God.
I did. So I do, but I know that I can't sustain that for a 60-minute workout. So if I spend 5 to 8 minutes at the end of the workout doing, you know, a finisher, then that feels good to me. So that's another way to add some intensity in that doesn't like tax you as much as even a 20-minute intense workout.
Totally. I mean, it's just such a great point. And like you're saying, like you PR'd with your deadlift. You PR'd with your deadlift. And there have been times that I've been working out super consistently and like you just have that day in there where you like can't do shit, you know, and you're like, what is going on, right? So the body is such a mysterious thing, and so much of it has to do with like our minds, right? It's like it's all like super connected. So just try to be flexible, be forgiving, listen to your body. You know, that's, you know, pretty nebulous saying, but it really is true, and allow for variance within your workouts. Allow for variance within like your rest periods, you know, so you want to like, you're like, I'm going to get this weight in if it kills me. Okay, fine. But you're going to probably need more rest between your sets, and allowing for that. Because I think that that's another big one, is just people rushing from set to set to set, and not allowing for that recovery.
Like, you know, to chase that
cardio effect.
Yes. Yeah. And you're not going to get stronger necessarily that way. So.
Yeah, I mean, you know, in yoga we always say this is like the true guru is within each of us, but it really is true. Like if stopping and listening, like you are gonna make the best decisions for yourself, and like as coaches, like we try to guide people there, but ultimately, like you just gotta.
So you gotta kind of avoid the FOMO a little bit and listen to yourself more. Yeah,
totally. All right, I think that's all we're gonna say today about that.
Yeah.
We could go on and on and on.
No, but we got a couple people that watched today, so thank you.
I know. Is everyone having a snow day? That's what it seems like. I don't think
Karen's at work.
Oh, Karen's at work.
Yeah.
Yeah. All
I'm
right.
going back to work.
I'm not. I'm going sledding.
Oh, nice. You are?
No, I don't even own a sled.
Oh.
I'm a 34-year-old woman.
I have a unicorn inflatable sled.
Okay. We're going to talk about this once we're off the air. All right, Soul Sisters, thank you so much for watching. Are you going to say bye, Jen?
Bye. I was like,